I've never used a real one of those before. I've always used the made-up one I had that I made out of a couple of pieces of 1x1 and an old hinge I found in our basement. I've never had a real clapper, but YouTube sent one to me. Figured I should probably use it. Welcome to Square Pegs, everyone. I'm Jay. I am super glad you're here. Today we're doing something I've never done before, and it is a ranking video. I've done plenty of those, but I've never done a ranking video for this. And it is, of course, the Evercade. You know exactly what's happening right now. We're taking a look at all 18 games featured in the Taito Arcade 1 and Taito Arcade 2 collections for the Evercade, and we're playing it on the Evercade Versus, and we're gonna kick things off right now. We're just gonna run alphabetically through. That's how they're laid out on screen. You're seeing the layout right now. You're seeing all the games featured. And we're gonna kick things off on a sports game that I was kind of surprised I enjoyed nearly as much as I did.
Alpine ski was not something I expected. When I loaded it up, I don't know really what I was anticipating because there was some instructions about the ski jump and things like that. So I was expecting a ski jump, not a really weird slalom game. And instead what I got is a really weird slalom game that I found myself enjoying significantly more than I thought I was going to. Now, let's not confuse this with thinking that this is some kind of like masterclass of a game, that it is like this ridiculous arcade hidden gem that everyone needs to play, but it is something that spoke to me and made me want to keep playing it and want to keep trying, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really had a ton of fun with it. I thought it was a really interesting take on what skiing could be. I like that they kind of switched things up a little bit. Instead of going like top to bottom on the screen and moving down the mountain, you kind of go up the mountain. You go bottom to top on the mountain, which I thought was kind of clever. Is it perfect? No, by no stretch of the imagination it is perfect. It is a flawed game that deeply shows its age in a lot of the ways that it is set up. It is clearly designed to eat your quarters if this were in an arcade setting, and I can't really fault it for doing what it's supposed to do. Is it something that I'm going to play a lot more going forward? Probably not, but it's something that I probably will play every once in a while when I'm thinking about winter sports games that I want to play again. Alpine ski, I'm going to give it a C+. Like, it does end up middle of the road for me. It's a good game, but I don't think it quite elevates itself to be beyond that. This is one of the few times I've actually played the arcade release of Bubble Bobble. I was familiar with Bubble Bobble on the NES, and it was good. I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't ever really hooked on it. But I wish I had known about this arcade version when I was younger, because I really, really enjoyed this. Now, this is identical, at least as far as structure goes, to what you experience on the NES. The levels are at least similar. The gameplay is pretty much identical. It's the look and the sound where the game really sets itself apart and really shows its improvement, because as iconic as that original NES soundtrack is, the one in this arcade game that's a little bit more orchestral and has more harmonies happening is significantly better. The look of the game is significantly improved with added shading and things like that. Like, it's subtle things, it's small things that in the grand scheme of things probably don't add too much to it, but they do make the game better in the overall picture. The game itself is wonderful. It is a simple to understand game where you're blowing bubbles, you're popping enemies, and you're collecting them when they turn into fruit afterwards, and you move on down the level. It's fantastic. It's fun. It's a great example of what Taito was able to do. Bubble Bobble gets an S. Before I popped this game in, I had never heard of Chack'n Pop, and I am sad because I really enjoy this. I think this game is really, really fun. I am just really kind of surprised that this is something that I had never really seen anyone talk about before. So the concept of the game is you are playing as Mr. Chack'n, and you have to save Ms. Chack'n because I guess she's been kidnapped. It's an 80s arcade game. There's not really an overarching story that we have to worry about here. What you need to know about is the gameplay loop. So as you're playing, you are going to stick to the floor or stick to the wall based on when you jump, if you're able to reach the floor or the wall. And as you go, you're going to be able to drop a bomb to the left or to the right. Now, you need to get the hell out of Dodge, kind of like you do in Bomberman when you drop a bomb, because if the explosion hits you, you're dead. But you can use that to blow up enemies. You can use that to blow up enemies. You can use that to pop eggs before they hatch. And your goal is to get through and collect the heart. Now, when you unlock the heart, which is locked in a cage, it will go up to the top of the screen, and then the enemy on the top will start moving towards it. I haven't had him run into it yet, but I'm assuming when he does, you're dead. It's a wildly fun game. It's very clever. It is tough. It can be a little bit unfair. Like, it is 80s hard. I'm going to give Chack'n Pop a B+. For something that I had never played before and I want to play more often, it's got me hooked. It's difficult, but it's got me hooked. Colony 7 is the type of arcade game that I don't really get into. It's a little bit before my time. It's not something that I have a ton of fun with, and I know this is sacrilege. I don't really enjoy Missile Command. I don't really enjoy asteroids or things like that. Just, it's not my thing. It's before me playing games. And this feels very much like a Missile Command kind of game. Now, it's a well-made Missile Command kind of game, and it doesn't do anything wrong. Like, it plays perfectly fine. It's just not a game that connects with me. I can see a lot of people really enjoying this, but for me, it just comes in middle of the road, a little bit below middle of the road. I'm going to give Colony 7 a C-. It's fine, it's just not for me. Don Doko Don feels like it should have been a Smurfs game. I don't know why. I just, I play it and I feel like it's Smurfs. It's good. It's a really, really good game. It's just, it's hard. It's a very difficult title. You play as a lumberjack, I guess, who kind of looks like Papa Smurf and Santa Claus had a baby. You're not blue, you're pink. And you fight mushroom men, and you hit them with an axe or a hammer or something like that, and as you go through, you kick them. It's a little bit like Liquid Kids. It's a little bit like Snow Bros in that way. It's fine. It's a really solid game. I'm just bad at it, and I want to get better at it. So it's something I'm going to be playing a lot more, because I think that there's some really smart inherent charm to this game that I don't see in a lot of other arcade games at the time. We were getting a little bit more grim and gritty around when Don Doko Don came out. And this is just cute, fun, and kind of fancy-free. I'm going to give it a B because I want to spend more time with it, and I can see myself getting really hooked on it. But for only having played it a few times, I think a B is a good spot to start it at. Although I reserve judgment to increase that ranking later on down the road. I know elevator action isn't for everybody, but I really do like it. I loved it when I first played it. I originally played it on the NES. And when I discovered it was an arcade game a long time later, I had no idea it was an arcade game until I was probably in my 20s. I loved the arcade version as well, and I really enjoy this version here on Taito Arcade too. It's a solid game. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, it's very easy to understand. You are going into the red doors, you're gathering the dossiers, you're shooting the bad guys that are coming out, and you're trying to make it to the exit at the bottom of the stairs. It's really not overly complex, but it's fun. At least it is for me. I know it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people don't really enjoy this one, and I can't really fault you for that, because I can see where the weaknesses lie. I can see why someone wouldn't want to play this one, because it isn't exactly really inviting. It's kind of simplistic looking. The controls can be a little bit finicky at times, but for me, it's something I enjoy. It's something I have fun with. But even with that, I am realistic to say it is not some upper echelon title of an S tier or an A tier, but for me, it does get a B. It might be a B-, but it's going to get to a B overall for me. This is Growl. Growl is our resident beat-em-up on this arcade collection, and it's fine. You play as kind of understudies of characters from Bad Dudes and Indiana Jones, and you're fighting poachers that are trying to kidnap animals and stuff like that, and you can get the animals to fight alongside you. It's weird. It's a weird-ass beat-em-up. But it's solid. It's actually got some really good mechanics. It's a fun game that's well designed. There's definitely some growing pains here where you can tell this is kind of that in-between stage before we got to the real golden age of beat-em-ups with things like Final Fight and stuff like that. It's a little bit before that, or at least a little bit before that could kind of flex its influence over the genre. So it's a little bit flighty. Some of the fighting is a little bit weird, and it misses in areas, but I think overall Growl is a really fun game. I'm going to give it an A. It's not perfect. Like I said, there are some things about it that makes it miss, but it's still fun, and that's the most important thing. While I was familiar with Pocky and Rocky, I had never heard of Kiki Kai Kai, which is the game that spawned the Pocky and Rocky series. I am just charmed by this game. It is adorable. It is very, very fun. It controls really well. It is also hard as balls. This is such a difficult game. So I was really excited when I turned this on, and I was like, why does this feel like Pocky and Rocky? And then it is Pocky and Rocky, or it would be Pocky and Rocky once we got to the home ports and things like that. I loved it. It was, well, not the home ports, the sequels on home consoles. But I really do love this one, and I am awful at it. I am absolutely horrible at it. And that kind of goes with everything that happens to me with shmups. As much as I love them, they don't love me back, and that's okay. That's okay. I am a really, really big fan of this one. I was really surprised by its existence. I was really surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did, even without the fact that I'm good at it. I still had fun playing it, and I think you would too. Personally, for me, Kiki Kai Kai gets an A. It's almost an S. If I was better at it, I would probably get it to an S. So yes, it is getting knocked down because I suck at it. Kind of like when I ranked Zangief an F because I can't use him to fight with. That's what's happening here with Kiki Kai Kai. It's going to get an A instead of an S, but still absolutely worth your time, absolutely worth playing. I love Liquid Kids. I love the concept. I love that this is kind of a continuation of the NewZealand Story, or Kiwi Craze, for those of us here in the States. I just love this game. This feels like the love child of NewZealand Story and Bubble Bobble to me. So you play as a platypus, you are throwing water bubbles at the bad guys on screen. You're able to kick them, kind of like what happened in the Snow Bros. If you get certain power-ups, it will cause cascades of water that will wipe out enemies, and then you can take them out by kicking them. It's a really, really well-made puzzle platformer that is just a signature arcade experience to me. It is something that I discovered on MAME probably about 10 years ago, and I was like, Liquid Kids, that's a stupid name, I'll play that. And I was so happy I did, because the game is perfectly brilliant. This is legitimately one of the best arcade games out there. It is something that, if you love Bubble Bobble, if you love games like the NewZealand Story, if you enjoy a puzzle platformer, you will love Liquid Kids. It is wonderful. This is an S tier for me. It is one of my favorite games in these collections. One of the best games, as far as I'm concerned, available on the Evercade.
All right, 9 games through, 9 games to go. Let's see where the rankings stand right now.
So let me get this out of the way by saying I am not the biggest Operation Wolf fan out there. However, I do appreciate it, and I will play it at an arcade if I see it there. It does come out to be kind of an average, middle-of-the-road light gun game for me in an arcade. I like other games more than it. I like other games less than it. It is very much middle-of-the-road to me. It's not a bad game. It's not a good game. It's just there for me, and that's just for me. I want that to be very clear, and I want you to understand that when I rank this game low, it is because it is missing a core component for what makes Operation Wolf fun. And that is the light gun. Having to control this with a controller sucks. It just sucks. It's not fun. It is not a positive experience. It is not something where I am leaving feeling good about the game I'm playing. It's kind of like a chore. It's not enjoyable. And that's really unfortunate, because I would expect this to be better than it is on a home port. And it's just unfortunate. It really is. Like, I want this to be more than it is. I am going to give Operation Wolf a D. It is not a failure point. It does get knocked down because you have to use the D-pad and the buttons to control rather than a light gun and a trigger. I wish it was better. It's just not. It's going to get a D. On the surface, Pirate Pete is a game that should piss me the hell off, because it's a collection of minigames, which aren't things I usually enjoy. It's an older arcade game, which are things that usually don't connect with me. But I don't know what it is about this game that has me hooked. I'm awful at it. I am, simply horrible at this game. But something about it, there's just something there that's got me hooked, and I want to keep playing it. And that's kind of remarkable to me, because that doesn't usually happen on older arcade titles. The idea of this game is you're playing, I guess, as Pete. Pete is you're playing as a pirate. We're going to assume he's Pete. And it's a series of mini games where you have to complete an action. Like, the opening stage is swinging from ropes on masts on your absolutely massive ship. The second one is swimming underwater and stabbing sharks in the face, and that's as far as I've gotten. I haven't gotten past that yet. But I'm hooked on this stupid game, and I don't know why. I'm terrible at it. It is... I can see myself liking it, mastering it, and then never playing it again. And I think that's kind of where the score is getting marked down a little bit for me. So that is why something that I'm talking about really enjoying, I can see just dropping like a bad habit as soon as I complete it. I'm going to give Pirate Pete a C. I'm going to say it's average, because as much as I'm enjoying it, there are inherent frustrations in its design. And like I said, I can see myself just never playing it again once I beat it. This is what I'm assuming is pronounced Raymaze, and I'm assuming it's pronounced Raymaze because I'm pretty sure it's a play on words because you're in a maze. And it's a really interesting game. So it's a nice spin on a traditional maze masher or maze muncher where you need to collect dots and you're going around in a maze. You have an accelerate button, you can fire lasers, you can collect power-ups to give yourself abilities and things like that. And it's clever. It's a really clever game. And it's something that has an incredibly high challenge level to it, where I have a very difficult time doing anything worthwhile. But I'm impressed enough with the base design that I want to keep playing it. And I think the overall design and the graphic quality and the sound quality and just the core gameplay concept is solid. I think it's above average. I'm going to give Raymaze a B. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry, but I really enjoy it. Have you ever played this one? Let me know. Kind of like Kiki Kai Kai, I wasn't actually aware that Rastan had an arcade version of it. I only knew it from the Master System, which I love. I love the Master System port of this game, and I am excited to now know that was based on a really badass arcade game. Rastan is fun, man. Like, this is a classic arcade experience, right? It is a hack and slash platformer where you collect weapons. You're only able to have one weapon at a time. It's important to note that. It says that in the instructions. And I just enjoy it, man. Like, it is a Conan adventure come to life. You are climbing ropes. You are attacking bad guys. You are shooting your flaming sword at them or using your gigantic axe to take them out. It's got a good challenge, a good look. The sound of the game is great. I can't help but have fun with it. It's a wonderful experience and such a great game. And it is super, super fun. It is unbelievably well made. It's a great game. Absolutely love it. Rastan is going to get an A. It does show its age a little bit, which knocks it down slightly, but yeah, it's going to get an A. I can see this one being the most controversial take on this entire video. This is Space Invaders. Everyone knows Space Invaders. Everyone at least tolerates Space Invaders, and I put myself in that tolerate level. I'm not a huge fan of the game. Never have been a huge fan of the game. Kind of like what I spoke about with Colony 7. This game's a little bit before my time. It's a little bit before I really got hooked on gaming, so I don't have that kind of nostalgic draw to it. But I understand its place in the industry, and I understand that even if it's not necessarily for me, it's still a solid game. It doesn't do anything mechanically bad. It just works. It's a very simple concept. The aliens are moving left to right and down the screen, and you have to blow them up and destroy them and hide behind the different shields and stuff like that you have on screen. Everyone, like I said, knows Space Invaders. Doesn't mean you have to love it. I am not one of the people that loves it. For me, it's an average game. It's something I can have fun with for a few minutes, but it's not something that I ever really anticipate or get excited about playing. The Electric Yo-Yo. So I could see early 80s arcade gamers enjoying this one, but I can tell you right now that 2025 Jay doesn't dig this game. Just doesn't get into it. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely not good. Like, this is something that I will most likely never play this one again. I got the footage for it. I went, oh, okay. And that was enough. Like, I immediately put it out of my mind. So it's going to get a D. It's not a failure. It's not awful. It's just not a game for me. The Legend of Kage is a game that I grew familiar with on the NES. It was one that I always wanted to rent. I always called it Legend of Cage. I think most of us did because none of us knew how to pronounce the word when we were younger. And it's something that I think is a well-made game that just has some weird-ass mechanics in it. Like, the ability to throw a shuriken and attack with a sword is great. The kind of like overactive crouching tiger, hidden dragon movement as you're kind of flying through the clouds and flying through the tree lines is neat, and it's fun, and it's different than anything else that's out there. It's a little bit weird. Like, the controls are a little strange. I've never been a fan of having to press up to jump in a game. It's just not something I like. I prefer it when it's connected to a button. And I understand that's not how the game was designed, so that's no fault of it. It's a fault of me having that expectation or that desire for it to exist. Overall, the game is solid, though. It's a very fun title. It feels like a Hong Kong action movie come to life, and it's something where I think anyone can really enjoy themselves for at least a few minutes with The Legend of Kage. I'm going to give it a B. I find it to be a little bit more above average than other games, and I think it's got that inherent kind of quality to it that anyone can enjoy. My love affair with the New Zealand Story started on NES emulation by playing Kiwi Craze, and I was blown away by the gameplay then. I was so excited to discover that it was an arcade game, and when I got to play the arcade original, I was blown away by it at that point. It was something that I just loved from top to bottom, and to this day, it is something that I still think offers an incredible set of gameplay experiences, a fantastically unique layout and design, and just overall enjoyment factor that I don't see with other arcade games. It is so rare for a game to stick to a particular genre, in this case being a puzzle platformer, with a little bit of run and gun added, but still be truly unique by making its own mark on the genre and on the arcade experience. And that is something that the New Zealand Story does in spades. It is a beautiful to look at game. It's a beautiful sounding game. The gameplay is unique. It is fun. It is challenging. It is incredibly well made. And for me, this is as close to perfect as it gets. The New Zealand Story is going to get an S, a wonderful experience from top to bottom, and truly one of the best games available in these collections and on the Evercade itself. I didn't know there was a sequel to Kicks, and now that I do, I am very happy. This is Volfeed, or Volfied. I don't exactly know how to pronounce it, but I am so pleased to live in a world where Volfeed exists because it is such a wonderful game. So if you have never played any games in this series, the concept is really simple to understand. You're creating boxes, and as you create boxes, you're going to fill in the background of the screen you're on, and that's going to limit how far the enemies that are on screen can move. Now, if they collide with any of the lines you're making, they will begin to attack you, and you have a limited amount of time to get back to a border that you've already completed. It's brilliant. It is such a simple concept. It's lines. It's completing lines. It's making boxes. That's all it is. And it's just such a brilliant, wonderful concept and such a fun game that I'm just tickled that it exists. I like that the enemies are more realistic, well, realistic in gigantic air quotes. I like that the gameplay is incredibly solid. I like that the game is super fun. It's a wonderful game. I'm giving Volfeed an A. It's limited in what it does, right? Like, it's not something that I would necessarily go to the arcade for, but I ain't going to be upset to play it if I see it when I go.
Some absolute classics featured in this ranking video. I mean, we got Space Invaders, we got The Legend of Kage, we have games that I had never heard of before, like Pirate Pete, games that I was shocked to enjoy nearly as much as I did. And then, of course, we had my favorites in the collections, Liquid Kids and the New Zealand Story and Bubble Bobble. Let me know in the comments down below if these rankings line up with what you expected, if they are way off base, if you think I am completely wrong. Sorry, I don't love Space Invaders as much as some people do. It's a fine game, it just doesn't hold my imagination as much as it did when I was a kid. But I am happy to hear what you think about that title in particular. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you'd like to stick around and check out more videos. Check out the playlist on screen right now where I've done a ton of ranking videos in the past. There's probably something there for you, something you might enjoy. And until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.